Hello and welcome to Royale Without Cheese, our bi-weekly podcast in which we discuss both the classic and the unknown of art and popular cinema from the then and now. We are your hosts, me, Miguel Aido, Leonardo Miranda,
Hello.
and Tomás Ferreira.
Hey.
As part of our award season segment, we'll be looking at the likely contenders for the 2026 Oscars. Today we talk about Hamnet. But before any ado, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, or simply give us a like. Hamnet is a 2025 biographical period drama directed by Chloe Zhao, who co-wrote the screenplay with Maggie O'Farrell based on the 2020 novel by O'Farrell. The film dramatizes the family life of William Shakespeare and his wife, Agnes as they cope with the death of their 11-year-old son, Hamnet. Hamnet had its world premiere at the Telluride Film Festival in 2025. Critical reception was positive, with Buckley's performance receiving particular praise, and it was listed among the top 10 films of 2025 by the American Film Institute. The film won Best Drama and Best Actress in a Drama for Buckley at the Golden Globes, getting also nominated in 8 categories at the Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actress. Oh, to be or not to be? To review or not to review? That is the question. And review we shall. For tell us, fair lady Chloe, did thy moving picture soar heavenward, as thy heart proclaimed? Or did our minds, poor Portuguese jesters such as we are, wander lost in an abyss of noble intention, but certain outrageous boredom, my lords? Shall we talk about this?
Yes, we shall.
Yes, you
we
shall.
Ugh,
Great. That was
jeez.
beautiful.
Indeed, jeez. I will
Gee
ponder
whiz.
in contemplation, for this film did lose my heart. You know? No, did not like Hamnet. In short, what
Yeah.
was your verdict?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when at the end of the film I went to see with a friend and I said, I'm not sure about this. because
like that. I'm not sure about
because I
this.
wanted to like it. I think it has it has good stuff,
Yes.
definitely. But I don't know. I just think the film. I mean, I do know actually. The film is, I think, too contemplative, too emotionally manipulative. I think sometimes it really wants you to experience emotions, and sometimes it feels a bit fake. I feel like I was the only person not like having this moment at the film theater, and it just feels like, oh, okay, I'm a robot then.
Everybody else was crying then.
No,
You
no,
and your
not
friend,
everybody
the
was
only one.
crying, but
Okay.
I could tell that there was emotion in the air,
Sobbing, yeah,
and
a little bit.
Yeah, you can feel the
that it could
vibrations.
definitely, yeah, that it could definitely touch you, and I get it. I mean, at the end, I was also like, okay, this is emotional. I think the film definitely gets better, to me. I think
Oh,
towards the end,
that's interesting.
Yeah, for me
because
too.
It gets worse for me.
really,
Yeah,
at least by
it's
the
the
end, I
opposite.
was like, okay, let's just go with it, and
But
I
fine,
could feel a
fair,
bit
okay.
more. It's just a mix of emotions that I don't really feel, that feel too forced. And I don't want to stretch too much on my first moment, but I think sometimes it's just the music doesn't help. I mean, the music is great. I mean, I love
Max
Max
Richter, of
Richter,
course,
but
me
I
too. Yeah,
mean,
but
but the problem with this music is that it's very emotionally vivid, very like pulling at your heartstrings music. Generally,
yeah.
everything he does is like this, but here it feels too much. Like it's really trying and elevating the scenes, I think, to a dimension that visually they just don't have. And it's one
Yeah.
of those cases where we acknowledge that music is always manipulative, but here it just doesn't earn visually what we're seeing. In other words, it's forcing too much, and we didn't earn those emotions. So I'm just left there listening to really great music and having like a rational understanding of the emotions I should be feeling, but not feeling them. It's I don't know. I just felt too much like a robot at times. Like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, so the kid died. And then I feel terrible because it's a really tragic film, and
I don't feel terrible. I feel perfectly fine.
and you know, to give
Yeah.
it credit, there are intense moments, and I really like the acting for the most part, I think. And definitely there are moments where I do feel the emotion, and I still think Jessie Buckley is a great actress. But yeah, it just didn't do it for me. It feels fake. I think the word is fake, and sometimes it just bored me as well. It's
Yeah,
especially in the
yeah,
beginning, it was kind of boring to be honest, which is very harsh. But I don't know.
yeah.
What did you guys think?
I mean,
If I may,
if you may, I know you may. You're jumping
I
at
know
me.
you may. You
You
will.
are
I'm
like,
jumping. I'm
I need to go.
going at it. You know, if I catch Chloe's arm, I'm gonna go like, "Come here."
Come on.
But the thing is, yeah, you've touched upon something that is very key on the emotional relationship with this film for me, and I think for us three, at least, as I vibe the room here, because emotional manipulation, yes, boredom, yes, and I think the other previous film that I saw, Chloe Zhao, Nomadland, similar experience at the level of the emotional manipulation, but then that film had it had good things as well. There are good things to be found in the story, but also it was a different beast and had a different problem, which was to put a Hollywood actress in the midst of a story that is about outsiders, real people that are put as background artists and to tell their story, and that raised for me ethical problems. But looking at this film, Hamnet, and not diverging too much, the thing here is there are beautiful moments for sure, but I think to me it's to go more deeply at the word force than at the word emotional manipulation. There's an expression in Portuguese, ladies and gentlemen, that is like meter a carroça à frente dos bois, so it's like to put the carriage in front of the bull, so to speak,
In English,
so
I
and
think
what does
it's
this
the
you know
horses. It's
the
the same
horses,
expression, isn't it?
oh yes,
But
it is. I
with
didn't know that. I
horses.
didn't know that.
I think
That's
so.
interesting. Okay.
Maybe not, but
So let's say the horses, the carriage in front of the horses. So it's backwards, right? And what do I say to this effect is that was an expression that I felt with this film, and it very much to do with it's a film that wears its emotions on its sleeve. And before any, what builds character is action and development of set action through conflict that then unveils as the characters make decisions and what the decisions make up of themselves and the struggles that they find along the way of the story. You have then emotional payoffs. Well, in this film, everything feels like an emotional payoff. Everything renders a laugh, a smile, a cry. Everything from moment zero
Yeah,
to
that's true.
last is immediately touch my face, touch my hand, smile with me, and laugh with me. And it's like movie. If you're gonna do this all the time, I'm not gonna be able to carry this rhythm with you. I'm gonna get tired. And it's interesting because just before this recording started, I was talking about the comparisons with another film we experienced. Mike wasn't here, but he saw it, which was Bugonia. And me and Leo in that other conversation, we talked about being a boring film, a difficult film to experience because it wasn't giving us anything.
But I didn't find that
And
one boring, actually. Just to give
okay,
my
fair
two
enough.
cents on the.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more superficial than I had initially thought. Because I did like it more the first time, but yeah, the second time I just felt it was not very watchable, like
Okay.
predictable, and I was really looking for the exposition now. So, but boring, I wouldn't say necessarily boring
yeah.
because
But
it
the word
does
the
keep the
word I
flow going.
used in Portuguese was chato, which is not
I was
quite.
roughly translating.
It's a rough translate, but it's not quite
Yeah.
boring.
Like
It's
dull, like
it's more
dull.
dull. It's more like almost annoying me because it's not giving me enough of what I want.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
that I get. Yeah.
it's an annoying experience more than boring. I would say was what I felt
So
with it.
I'll pick that from there and say here it's annoying because it's giving me too much too early all the time, before I see the action that leads me to the emotion. So what will be here the equation, so to speak, if there were to be a mathematical equation to this, but it's more in written form in poetry that we're speaking to the screenwriting, is that first comes the action that builds character, and then yes, the resulting emotion, the consequences that leads us to our characters to be in peril of having their son dying, of the difficulties of marriage because he's away in London, all those things that the plot of the story wants to render, and then comes the emotion. But the thing is, the emotion always comes first. There are some scenes of beauty, and to mention those scenes of beauty is like the moment where, perhaps for me, Shakespeare is in the forest with Agnes, one of their first bonding moments, and he starts talking about the myth of Eurydice and Orpheus, which is one of my favorite myths in Greek mythology. That's interesting. Although, what is interesting there is very much the story and how Paul Mescal tells it. It's a movie of actors and actors performing, and there are moments where them two being good actors, it's a play. It's very much theatrical, where they're very much shining. That's a moment where they shine. Although it's never completely perfect, so to speak, or never really completely well for me, because Chloe Zhao, I don't fancy her directing very much. I think some directing slash and editing, because that moment, which could be so beautiful in the way that could be very still and contemplative, she decides to cut here and there all the time in the editing. Paul Mescal monologue to Jessie Buckley, as he retells this story, there is a moment of connection because she has experienced that in that extreme way with the loss of her mother. And you have her, Chloe and the editor. She has edited the previous ones before. I don't know what's the case with this one, but she's on Paul, on this kind of a medium shot, and then cuts away to a wider shot, a wider two shot, very briefly, that includes the two, Jessie and Paul, with this tree making this kind of contour on the shot, and then back to Jessie, and then back to Paul, and then back. I mean, just stay with him. Just stay with him. Sometimes I wish the film just embraced the one shot still life, mentality and quietness, because the film there really asks for it. And sometimes it's very taken by this handheld tree of life quasi kind of thing, Terrence Malick, which doesn't even pull that well. It feels a film that is imitating that other aesthetic and doesn't really linger on the beauty of those shots. They are captured with these spherical lenses. They really render light and the quality of image in this very naturalistic way. It just feels like a copy of that other film. And I really wish it went further.
I didn't have that much of an impression of Malick, to be honest. Just because, seeing Nomadland, you can tell that she has...
I get it.
It's the trees and the handheld.
But it's
it doesn't go fully
like
there.
every shot of a tree handheld is Malick.
It's he has a fucking
no, exactly. Because I think it alludes to it. I think he kind of wants to go there, but it doesn't go fully there. Because Malick is Malick. You have even more stuff.
Malick has the camera at the ground and then comes up and
exactly. At the ground comes up. It's wide angle lens, distort people's face. She doesn't fully go there, and I think she's kind of taking inspiration.
If she did that, that would be even worse, because then it's like, so you're just trying to be Malick.
Even worse. Yeah. But it would be even worse if you went there. But
maybe we should just cut out of Paul Mescal, because at the end of the day, he's not that exciting.
He is not that great. I was very disappointed.
My problem with him is that his eyes are dead. If you really look at his eye acting, it's very dull. It's there's like a sense of I can't really act in his acting.
Depends, yes.
Yeah, but depends. He's a very strange actor to review, because I simultaneously think he's very good and also very like he's trapped, like he can't escape this vests that is pulling him under, and I don't know, I just want to say, release, get out there, show some movement, show some emotion. It just feels like he's constantly very subdued and very weighted by something I can't really describe. But I think it's his eyes. Like he I don't know. He just he doesn't do a lot with his eyes.
I didn't feel like with Jessie Buckley. I felt that I was watching the character. With him, I was like, it's like he's struggling to be Shakespeare, and that that's not a good feeling to have when you're watching a film. But there's a moment where I was like, oh, now I think he's great in this moment, which is when he's he's directing the actor, and he's telling him how to read the lines, and he's getting really frustrated. I thought in that moment was when
that was good.
I really liked him there. But the rest of the film, I do feel that too, what you're saying. There's an
because
emptiness to him, like he's not.
yeah, exactly, an emptiness. It's like if he can't do those scenes, which is good, it's like he makes a scene like like a little kid, like, oh no, then I'm not acting. And then everything else he just doesn't give his best. I don't know. It's like he's making, yeah, it's like making a scene like making a scene like like a kid does. I don't
Like a
know the
kid.
best expression. I'm not remembering. But yeah, and sometimes he just has weird choices, which I don't know if it's his entirely or Chloe, but sometimes he just laughs a lot. I don't know if you guys felt this,
I
but
didn't notice.
he smiles slashes laughs at
But
weird
I feel that for
moments.
both characters, honestly.
But but he
The
he
laughing and the
Yeah,
smiling.
but his are much more obvious and weird. Like in that scene where he's talking to his family right after a meeting, dating Jesse's character, and the mother is saying like, you're not gonna marry her, and he's like laughing like, yes, I am. Like, dude, this is not a moment to laugh and be happy. It's like, yeah, I know, I don't know, I just felt
Okay.
off. Sometimes his
But
emotions
yeah.
felt off.
And anyway, for me, it's like that quietness of the fixed shot, of the held shot for longer that the film could have retained in certain moments. There is even a moment where they're playing in the forest, the whole family, and they leave the forest, and she briefly cuts to a wider shot of all the little ones, and the parents leaving the forest, and comes back to someone. Sometimes I don't know why she's cutting. Like sometimes I'm really riddled by the direction, and some shots really. There are moments where I was like, I was just laughing at the choices of the shot. For example, there's a shot where Shakespeare. No, another shot that annoys me even more, Care, where there's this thing with tables. She's at the table, Jessie Buckley taking some eggs, boiled eggs, and they have their first fight where he needs to go back to London, and she gets out of the table and they start fighting, and there's a scuffle, and he pulls her down, but we can't see part of the action because of the table. So when they fall, it's awkward because you can't see the body. So it's like, what is this? And the shot is like, no, it is this.
But
I
actually,
like the stillness, but it could be somewhere else. I don't. I can barely see the actor struggle. It's not good.
I
It's
remember
like
that scene and thinking something wrong with it, but it's not that moment. It's after, because the off thing by the table, I don't mind. Not seeing them entirely. I think it's fine. But to me, it's like the weird way in which the scene ends, where the camera stays still and she just gets up and he leaves. Like,
that's part of
okay,
it. Yeah.
bye. No, but you
Hmm.
have to remember the framing. I don't know. It stuck with me because it's very uninteresting. They are fighting. Suddenly they just get up. Okay, bye. One leaves for the right, in the right direction. The other goes to the left.
And the one also at the table where he's writing another play, and you have these moments where she decides for the first time, I will hold, and it's very awkward shot of the table and him writing at night, and then the decisions that he makes as per acting this very disturbed moment in writing. I can't write. I need to go. He doesn't say he needs to go to London, but it's what she interprets as he needs to escape from this life in his parents' house and go. But before all that, the conclusion that Jessie takes, she's trying to console him at night near the table, and it's so theatrical. And the thing is, you don't understand where this comes from. You see some moments of him like by the river, swimming and all in a daze, and then you have him riding, and it's like, you don't understand. Like this. I need to go. Be quiet. No, stop. Stop. He does this. Stop. I can't. The way. Oh, oh, oh. Just starts doing this stuff. And I'm like, dude, what is like justifying all these maddening crap? And we haven't seen a development of your relationship with your writing, with your project, with your prose, that I feel intimate with your material in such a way that I see this blow up of emotion that is warranted, that is justified. And even by the end, when I see the play, I'm like, who is Shakespeare, the artist? I only see, I think I'm much more acquainted with Jessie Buckley and her struggle at home than him in his little artsy fartsy world. I'm sorry, Shakespeare. I'm talking more to Shakespeare, the character in
But
this
to be
film.
fair, I mean, she's supposed to be the lead.
And
the
she
main
is
character.
very much, but also like the play and etc. holds on a big weight in this film, which is not granted, space. And I just don't feel it. And then to speak more to that idea that emotions come first rather than seeing the actions that lead up to those emotions, seeing them play with their kids, like when he returns from London and the kids are performing the opening of Macbeth, with the three witches in the distance and everything. Foul is fair and fair is foul, and they're immediately laughing and immediately finding all that very funny. And I just thought it was like, what the fuck movie? They're just go to the terrace and they're like, oh, good. And I'm like, stop this crap. I'm just getting annoyed at this. It's not that funny. It's not that great. And it just
It's
feels
just
like I
kids
went
being
to
kids. I mean, come
It's
on.
kids.
it's kids being
Kids
kids,
laugh
but
at
it's
everything.
like I somehow I feel like every scene where there's this blow up of emotion, feels like I've come at the end of something that it's like I'm coming at the end of the party I didn't came at the start with. It's like I'm coming to the party and it's like, what's going on? Oh, okay, everybody's very happy and okay, what happened? I don't like what came up to. I don't feel these people as people. I don't feel these characters as characters. It's like, it's that expression of you fall, you skydive from a parachute onto a scene where there's this blow of emotion, and I don't really understand where this is coming from, and it feels very cheap, the emotion. And I'm seeing all these kids being wonderful. It's this idea of kids being wonderful, this idea of being happy, this idea of being sad, that just comes at you like a freight train. And I'm like, I'm not feeling it because we haven't constructed a narrative progression that justifies this final emotion.
Yeah, I think that the hurriedness, that rushness, I mean, I feel it there for sure. But I think, it's a bit more obvious, like in the scene where you said, about his writing and the way he wants to develop it further and feeling trapped there.
That's even more
It's
because it's a
mostly,
character.
but
It's a
no, but I was
thing,
gonna
yeah.
say it's mostly given to us by Jesse afterwards, talking to her brother, telling us that he feels trapped and he wants to leave. Like we hadn't really seen that sense
From him,
of yeah, of being entrapped from him, other than some one
with the
scene I
father.
think, yeah, where he reveals some level of being discontented, but or impatient. But even then, it's very meek and it didn't really even translate the idea of the writing, just a general sense of impatience. But I think even more than that, it's the beginning, which is what kind of why I didn't enjoy it, because the way they established their relationship, which is crazy to me,
It's very
because
good
they
to go there
just yeah,
because
it's
I thought it was
just
crazy too. Yeah,
yeah, they just
go ahead.
meet and talk like they already know each other, but then
Exactly,
clearly
and they
they
don't.
don't, which is super weird,
It's super weird.
realizing that they really don't know each other. And everything that they do in that first encounter, which is a first encounter, it's just
Yeah,
so crazy to
it's
me
like
that
the key to this film. The connection with these
yeah,
two
Exactly.
characters, and it goes awfully awkward and unnatural and cheap. No.
But
yeah,
but
it
that's why the
just
film gets better for me as it goes along. Because at the beginning I was like, I do not buy this relationship one bit. Why am I? How can I invest emotionally into these people when like it's so forced? It's like they're being told to fall in love by someone off camera. But then as it goes along, it's like okay, yeah, a child dies. I can understand the emotions better there. That's like the pathos there is a lot stronger, even if it's cheaper in a way. But their relationship at the beginning is like completely. I mean, the film begins very badly for me, but
Yes,
then
yes, it
it gets
does.
better for me. And I like the final performance. I thought it was interesting, and it brings ideas again, like sentimental value of dealing with family trauma through art and how to process grief in that
Sure.
manner. So, there's things there to pick apart and think about. It's not great, but I enjoyed it. I think for me, the big problem with the film that we've already kind of talked about a little bit is that there's no contrast. Like the film, everything is going towards these hyper emotions that are being fed to you, and there's not really any like contrasting things. Like even the music is always telling you what to feel, how to feel, You don't feel like sometimes things being contradictory would be good. Sometimes the emotions not being so in your face would be good, just so we could be more conflicted about what we're being told to feel. Even the color of the film, even like why does it have to be this muted grayness? There's
Drab.
moments, yeah, there's moments I appreciate it, like the red with the greens. I think it's almost visually interesting, but it's just most of it is just so bleak and muted. Like, why not? Like, if you want to do this hyper emotion thing, if you want to do this melodrama, I don't oppose it. I think that's good. But like, there's no conflict between doing that and making a film that has more color, like like a Douglas Sirk
Yeah.
melodrama. Like, there's no conflict between colorful images and hyper emotion. Like, it's not because it feels that that's the point. It's like, oh, it's a sad film. The image has to look sad, but why?
In fact, but by the things you said, I think it'd make even more sense to make it the colorful because if it's hyper emotions, it should be hyper colorful.
Yeah, yeah,
It
exactly.
almost makes
Because
sense to join the two ideas.
absolutely, because I think a lot of people associate colorfulness with happiness, which I understand, but there's also something to bringing out color that is about like bringing out emotion. It's bringing out, it's also another way of like hyper emotion in either direction. It doesn't have to be necessarily just happiness. Like doesn't just have to communicate that. So I don't know. In a film that is already so like performed, so hyper emotional, like I was missing something that went a little bit against that. So I guess like if the image was more colorful, I think it would be better. But it's not. It wouldn't fix it. But I don't know. It's just everything goes in the same direction of guiding you to cry, and it's like okay, relax a little bit. Like gotta earn it.
And there's very little conflict. There's no opposing forces. Sometimes the one scene where I felt emotionally, genuinely emotionally taken by the film was the scene where Hamnet is dying. It's because for the first time there's something visually interesting in contrast where he starts to go to the other realm, and the other realm is the theater of his father. There's a theatrical plasticity to it, where you see these fake trees and this two-dimensional backdrop. You see him for the first time in this lovely shot of this tapestry through which he's seen all, that is dark. Okay, I like it. There's a texture here, and we're crisscrossing with what's happening with Jesse Buckley, what's happening with Paul Mescal returning home. And I really feel genuine emotion. I like how he's painted in this very pale, kind of deadly thing. And for the first time, I'm really taken by it because also the movie doesn't need to do a lot of heavy lifting there. There's something that the movie is doing well at the core of formal language there, and pushing the boundaries on how it can express losing someone for the other side. And there's of course also the inherent poetics of Hamnet was given life by his twin sister that passed away at childbirth, and now he's the one giving life for his other, elder sister, and he's the one who ultimately dies. There's that poetics there going on, and that has emotional poignancy. But it's an idea that on its own, the movie doesn't need to do a lot of heavy lifting because for a parent to lose a child, that sentence, that's horrible. So that notion, that idea is already something that plays at your heartstrings very, very much. And then the scene gets cut off by this girl coming in and saying, "Stop him! Don't you see you need to release him?" And I'm like, oh,
For me, that was like the obligatory character in a movie that says, "Stop it! Don't you see he's dead?" moment. Like, come on, movie.
like
Like
why?
there always needs to be that person if
It's
someone is
so
dying that says he's
embarrassing.
already dead. Don't do it. And being the sister, am I supposed to believe that the sister, the young like kid, would be that rational? Because that's like super rational of a
And by the
thought to
way,
have.
also,
And
who
it's the
is that
kid
girl?
that says that. She's one
Who
of the
It's the
who is that
sister.
sisters.
girl? Like, is
She's the
she? Is
older
she? 'Cause
sister.
how
Yeah.
many kids do they have? Like, they had that
But
firstborn.
like I was wondering because you just said that the baby died. His twin sister didn't die. She comes back to life, right? Is that
Yeah,
what
exactly.
No,
happens?
they have a firstborn, right, in the forest, and
Yeah.
then
Then
she
they have
has
twins.
twins.
Then
Yeah, they're
twins.
three.
So
Oh,
three.
one comes out, And then one comes out. Okay, so they have three. It's true. It's true. It's true.
Three alive.
I
Yeah, and
forgot,
that's the older sister.
I thought it was just twins. No, there was another one before. There you go. He wanted
Getting
to.
attacked.
But that's the thing.
Cat
How can
interruption. Oh
a
my God.
kid, a teenager, if that, be that rational to say, stop it? Don't you see he's dead? Like she's an adult robot. It's, everyone is taken by emotion. It just felt very movie moment. Like,
And also like,
and also,
I would
can I
just
just
say,
add,
yeah, sure, go ahead.
because that overall scene, it just speaks more to what we were saying,
Uh-huh.
where the movie just doesn't know how to have one isolated emotional climax. It's like we have that whole scene with Jessie Buckley. She's crying, great acting. I mean, I love her desperation. Great. I mean, not great, but okay. Moment is had. And then it's like Paul Mescal arrives. He looks at the kid, and I'm like, oh my God, are we going
No.
to go through this again? Please don't make him like sob cry and all this. Because it just feels like the movie doesn't know how to stop in scenes. Like every time a character enters and has a moment, you just feel this emotional weight, like everything's going to explode. And I'm like, just try to work the scenes a bit better, so that it's a bit more calm and and doesn't leave me like exhausted of seeing this. It's like the movie wants to exhaust you emotionally, and that's the part that I don't like. It's the extra mile to achieve that.
Yeah, and what's interesting after that scene, to kind of go in segment with that, is that afterwards, Jessie Buckley, Agnes, has this moment where she says, like, you weren't here. I suffered more than you. You weren't here. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, it's unfortunate that he wasn't here. I totally agree. That's bad. But if I recall correctly, you were the one who really was like, he needs to go to London and have space and whatnot. And he went, and you know what he's doing there.
Yeah, exactly. That whole thing is.
And he came home a bereft father. He's feeling it with you, but you know what he's doing in London. You were very understanding and supportive of him before, and now it's like this big thing. Oh my God, you were in, dude. Like what the fuck? Like I just thought like this is so stupid, and then it's so cruel of her
Yeah,
to say
and
I
unfair
see
as well.
nothing inside of you, and I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And it's like it's incongruent. It's like it doesn't make sense because movie like this was not the character. If this was a conflict that grew beforehand like her feeling conflicted about her first decision of okay, you need to go, but now I don't feel so certain. But no, we never saw that kind of ambivalence to it. So it comes as a surprise too late, and I'm made to feel that the character is very cruel and unfair. And then so by the end, for me, why the end is even worse after that, seeing the play. Yes, there are all those ideas of performing your grief to art, expelling it through another form. That's interesting, sure, but it doesn't feel warranted to her to come on the kind of that theater in Stratford. Jesus Christ, cat attacked. Jesus, she wants attention. Wow.
Little cat moment for you here
Yeah,
at the
yeah, yeah.
podcast.
True. She knows what clearly a play is and what players are, and instead she enters there and it's like, oh my God, people around me, people, and the faces of people. Oh, how detailed and dirty they are, and I'm like, oh, and then this overhead shot who doesn't. To me, it's like, why are we cutting to this overhead shot? You know, it's like it's an innate beauty that the overhead shot has, but what's the I don't feel the decision behind many of the shots he chooses to do. And it's like okay, then we go to the stage and then she has this moment of like guttural reaction to seeing this representation of her son on stage, which is Hamlet, and it's like, don't you use his name, don't you? It's a play, darling. You know what this is. Like, calm down. Like, I know you're grieving, but come
She's
on.
speaking over
It's
the play. It is pretty funny.
Are you-
Like
are
she's
you
talking over
fucking-
like a person watching a
you
movie, talking
crazy?
over it all the time. Like, hey, wait, why is he doing that? It's like, calm down, watch the fucking play.
It was like in today, it would be like someone else saying, "Shut up, lady." It's just so.
And I'm like, you know what this is. You know what, and you know. So it's like, why? It's just so awkward and cringeworthy, and it feels even more wrong because I know what the movie is trying to make me feel. It's like the movie's like, see how bereft she is that she can contain her emotions, and it's and I'm like, no, actually no. So, and it annoys me because of that. I see the movie playing the magic trick, and it's not even doing the magic trick well. It's like, so this is how I do the magic trick, and this is how I actually did it. And it's like, yeah, no. It's like it's just I'm annoyed by it. And the whole play and the thing of it, I don't know. Like, it's him, it's William, he was the ghost. No, no, no. And the brother is trying to explain to her, and it's like, no, no, this is interesting to me. And it's just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they play one of the most played songs ever from Max Richter on The Nature of Their Life, which was a suggestion, I think, of Jesse Buckley on set, wrongfully so, that then the director decided to use, because it's one of the most played out pieces of music. And it's basically the world's smallest violin played. And it's like, yes, it's pretty, but it has been played over 20 times, over 20 films, like Shutter Island, Arrival, a bunch of times. And I listened to that when I was in high school, and it was like, oh my God, beautiful. And now it's like, don't do this, because it's like, it's emotion stacked upon emotion, and I'm like not feeling it. And it's Jesse Buckley smiling. I'm purged now, and I'm like, fucking hell, movie. Like, by that point, I'm like, I'm done. I wash my hands of you, movie. I wash my hands of you. That was my feeling.
What I
Anywho,
wonder is seeing this movie like without music. I think it'd be
it had the
a
potential for
curious
that.
experience. No, no,
And
no,
then
but
to reserve the music to certain moments would be better, like
yeah,
to
yeah,
not
yeah, for sure. But I mean, just imagine this scene without the music. I mean, I just think it'd be like the
maybe even 10
blandest
times better.
thing. I don't know, not the blandest thing, but it just feels like it's completely weighted by the music. Like the balance is completely like this, and without it, it would just be very normal, like a very normal ending. Uh, and yeah, if it felt more proportionate, more balanced between what the two things are doing, but that scene alone, like I couldn't help but like, okay, this is emotional, this is interesting, but it's a hack, so to speak. I mean, I know, I know that I'm being led down this path, and that I'm falling for the trap, but you can't help but fall, and
And then she
that's the part.
stretches out her hand, breaking the fourth wall, and he breaks the fourth wall. He looks at the audience. What is this?
Ah,
I
no,
just
I
want
like that.
Shakespeare
Yeah,
to come
actually,
in and
like
Shut
say,
up. Shut
"What
up,
is
man.
this? What the fuck is this?" And start being like, "Well, hey, what the fuck is this? I didn't told you to do that." Just really cockney hard, aggressive,
Hey, hey,
just interrupting.
oi, don't touch the
Like,
talent.
turn into a Guy Ritchie movie, completely. But
that was actually fun. It was different,
you thought,
and it
Yeah,
felt
I liked it too.
felt
And it's a
yeah, it
moment,
felt
like
like
it's a
it was a progression.
gesture. It's a movie. Okay, finally, like something that is a gesture that communicates something that is not like so overbearing like the rest of the film. I thought, okay, she's touching her child through this performance. It's nice. Of course, then the other people doing it is stupid. That I didn't like so
that's what I
much.
mean.
Ah,
That
okay.
that's more.
I'm
That's
saying
more.
the her
It's she
stretching.
does
You
that,
said
and
her
then
stretching out her
the
hand,
actor goes along with it, and the audience also,
but
and
that's
it's just
fine. That's fine. Like, oh, the purity of the performance. How dare you?
I don't know. It's like just there's no I don't know. There's nothing behind it. To me, it's like But to go back around also to the first meeting they have, he goes into the barn with her and says, "May I enter?" "You may." And it's like, okay. So the script dude, who we don't know, the tutor next door, is gonna, okay, fine. He enters, touches the hawk, and it's like, "Ah, he bit me," and etc. "Will you tell me your name?" "I won't." "You will. You will." He starts saying, like, already laughing, already like this beautiful thing. "It's so beautiful that you don't tell me your name. You will. You shall." And I'm like, okay. And then they got together, and immediately they touch each other and say, that touch of the hand, right? And when shall we kiss? I'll know your name when we'll kiss. And I'm like, all right, that's a bit too much. And they effectively kiss, and I'm like, all right. And then he's like, oh, we don't know each other. I must go now. Like, what the fuck movie?
Yeah, it's everything is wrong. I don't even want to remember that scene
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's so bad right
It,
from the
it felt
start.
like, ugh, when they say the worst student film scenario possible, that's what it is. Like the bridging of emotion comes first, and the rationale of action that takes you there. And then, I don't know, the moment in the forest as well, after he says the story, I mean, nothing film feels genuine. It feels they are conditioned to love each other from the start, because she is this prototype of the lady in the forest who is different from everybody else. So, she's connected with nature, and with the hawk, with the bird image, and then you know, she says, "What did you, he says? What did you saw inside of me?" Has to hold hands, which was very evocative. I don't know. I just felt like a little bit. I need a little bit more than this, and you barely know each other, and it's like, okay, this marriage is gonna fall apart because you know it's like it's on a basis of this. Are we gonna go into this relationship? And no, it doesn't really
I mean, it's such
doesn't
a
really go there. It doesn't really
strange
show the
decision to start
tribulations.
the movie with them not already being somewhat in a relationship. Like, why must we see the beginning? It doesn't feel like it even relates that much to the overall emotions of the film. Like, you could just start with them already as a couple, already in, or not married, but like in that process. In the family doesn't want them together, you know. So that's
Sure,
there's
could be.
things
Yeah.
there because then the movie's more about their grief and their pain of losing a child. So it's not like we need to see them fall in love in the first place. I mean, we don't see them because it's completely forced and fake, but I don't understand even the structurally, like why structure it like this. Doesn't make sense to me.
Basically, they want the first moment of connection, and then a trade, which is you tell me a story, I'll cure your wound, and that does it. Basically, we are in love. And then the next morning he says, "I'll need to be handfasted to you," or handfastened, which I thought
And
was an
fasted,
interesting choice
yeah.
of words.
Same. We were talking about Paul Mescal. I think maybe more than him as a performer, it's the fact that the character is
It has the
empty.
character he's written,
Yeah,
really.
he's doing what he can. He's not one of those actors who can like bring something out of a character if the character is not good enough. Like there's actors who you can write whatever you want. They will make the character interesting just by their presence. And I don't think Paul Mescal is quite that type of performer. He's more of a he needs a really strong basis, and the film doesn't give him that. Like the
He's more
character.
contained. He's more of the brooding kind.
Hmm.
And After Sun is an excellent example of how a film can use that from him. You know, that guy who is solemn and in another world. Here, I don't know. You know, if the point is to make us
But he's
connect and
solemn, but he's
understand,
always kind of smiling too. It's
it's true.
it's
I laughed
vague.
when he was like telling to his son, "Will you be brave? Will you be brave?" You know, with that smile. I was like, "Shut up, man!" Like I
Shut up,
just was like,
man. Get
"Calm
out.
down."
Let's cut to
Everything
Jesse
is
Buckley.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but you know, you seem to have liked Jesse Buckley a lot. I didn't, you know. It's like none of them. I was taken by
Comparatively,
them.
I didn't like her. Where did you get that? I liked her a lot. I liked
She's
her more
fine. I
than all
think
that.
she's no, no. She's
Comparatively,
not just fine. She's very good.
No, no. When I say fine, she's fine. Like she's good. Like I like her
I
performance,
didn't like any of them.
but I wasn't
I
like wow.
like they were giving good performances. They were serving well the script, yes. But the thing is, uh, I
It's
don't know.
just
I just thought it was
the overall
exaggerated a lot
way
of the
they
times.
insert themselves in the film and the
It
plot.
felt like the movie was bringing me to an artist's residence with actors, and everything was like this. Let's play a game today. You know, we are going to be in the sand and
That's pretty
dance, and
good.
nothing is there. And it's like,
That's a good way of putting it.
okay, okay, you know. And now we are in the forest and like making sounds. Woohoo! Woohoo! And I was like, yeah, yeah, movie, yeah, yeah, that all that crap, yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
Chloe Zhao just behind the camera and saying stuff like, I feel you. I feel you. I know your pain. I know your pain. Yeah, sure. I'm like, okay. So,
Yeah.
we can't live off of this movie. This is all beautiful. Has an inflection point, you know, and that's why kind of the death of Hamnet is a good inflection point. You have a good idea, a real world idea behind it that functions well on its own. The death of a child before his parents, you know, that's horrible. But it is just that, is that sentence. You know, we don't need to do a lot of heavy lifting, right? Because besides that, there are not a lot of narrative progression that warrants these emotions to really breathe and be. It's everything is this
And for me, it's a pity
emotional
because
weightiness.
the story itself is kind of interesting. Taking Hamlet, the play, and
Mm,
using it. I mean, of course, this is based on a novel, so this is not like something out of Chloe's, mind. But it's
sure,
interesting to tell this story in this way. To frame it as the birth of the play of Hamlet with this family story. I think
sure.
the premise is
That's a
interesting, and
the
it's
idea.
a
The
cool
idea
way
is
to get
always
to know the
interesting.
writer and
Sure,
their
but the thing
life.
is, we never get to know the writer, right? We never see that development,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that
The
was
writing.
my
That's the thing
final
that is
point
missing.
was, it's
Yeah.
a missed, I think to me it's a missed opportunity because there's a lot of potential. I mean, and the film does achieve some things, but to me it's more the wasted potential than the achieved one. And yeah, it just feels bad because of it, because it's on paper very interesting, I think, or could be very interesting. Yeah, but
Yeah. And I
it's
mean,
not.
that's like the scene of the to be or not I thought that was awful. Like, oh, to be or not to, it's almost like
He's
he's gonna, oh, wait a
almost like
minute,
falling.
what a line, let me go back and write it. Like, oh my god, it's so
Wait,
stupid.
wait a minute. There's a moment of the monologue where he says the monologue of to be or not to be
Yeah,
by the river, and he's almost falling.
yeah,
But
It's
that's
such
what I
a
mean.
bad
but that one,
framing, yeah,
that's
on
what he
top of
meant.
it.
Ah,
Of course, that's what I meant. There's no other moment, I don't
no,
think.
because I don't have the notion of him being like, oh, what a line, and then running to write
Tomas,
it. I don't.
I was
Okay.
doing a little joke. It's
Ah,
what's
okay,
called a
okay, okay.
joke.
Okay, fine, fine. And I hadn't the scene like in mind as much, so I
Yeah.
was kind of thinking more,
No,
did
no.
that
I'm
happen?
saying
So
it's
I
almost like
bypassed the joke.
he's doing
Yeah.
that and he's gonna, oh my god, wait a minute. To be or
As
not
if,
to
yes,
be?
yes, yes,
And
yes.
then goes back and writes. It's so,
That must be something.
that
That
must
must
be.
be
Wait a
something
minute.
that will be
Maybe I won't
remembered
kill
for ages.
myself. Maybe that I got something there.
Yeah. No. But like I said, the moment where he's like directing the actors is one of the most genuine moments
Yeah.
where I'm interested in his performance.
Yeah. I really
Because
like
it's
that.
very up close to his face. I feel the shot for the first time. It's one of the rare
And you
moments where I
actually
feel a
feel
shot.
some emotion that goes beyond just neutral brooding, okay, he's releasing, he's being angry, he's being impatient finally for the death of his kid, and the fact that he's away from his family. Like, okay,
Yeah. It's like
release something.
it's a perfect scene where, like, what the movie could be is there. It's like you understand that through his art he's processing the loss of his son, and so he really wants it to be delivered perfectly, because, like, it's not just words for performance, it's words for him to feel regarding the loss of his son. It's like, why isn't the movie like this all the time? Like, it's like it's the only scene that really captures that complicated dynamic.
And it's almost like an inherent sin of the film where, if one of your characters is William Shakespeare, how can anyone come close to that level of
It's true.
interest that he conjures? I mean, okay, yeah, Jessie Buckley's character can be interesting, and she acts very well and brings a lot forth, but at the end of the day, the person right next to it is
William
William
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare
Yeah, it was
writing Hamlet. I
exactly.
mean, it's
It's
really
built
difficult not
Shakespeare.
to want to know more about that, and not to want to develop that further. And we're always left thinking, what about him, and how is he dealing with the death of his child? I mean, it's almost like we're saying, okay, yeah, I know, but what about him? And it's sad because he's not the main character, but you kind of want him to be, because it's this huge presence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So,
difficult.
but it's built into the film. It's just her choice. Let's talk about the wife. Okay, that's fine. It could be interesting, but with such a figure, I mean, it's just difficult to balance
It's
the
really not
two.
about giving more protagonism to one or the other. This could be a perfectly dual protagonism
Yeah, but it's not. She
film, but
doesn't
it's not.
choose.
But it's not. She doesn't choose that. It's giving much more to Jessie Buckley.
And that's all for today. If you'd like to reach out and suggest a film for the next episode, you can find us on the podcast official Instagram and website pages. Feel free to subscribe, share this episode, or simply give us a like. That's how our podcast can grow ever groovier. And if you're on YouTube and want to see more videos like this, check out this next one right here. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.